Norway, a land renowned for its breathtaking natural beauty, dramatic fjords, towering mountains, and Arctic wilderness. Situated in northern Europe, this Scandinavian country's geography is one of the most varied and striking on the continent. From the jagged coastlines along the North Atlantic Ocean to the vast Arctic tundra, Norway's geography tells a story of glaciers, tectonic forces, and an ancient natural history that has shaped both the land and its people. To understand Norway fully, we must begin with its location. Norway stretches over 385,207 square kilometers, making it one of Europe's larger countries by area, yet much of its terrain is rugged and mountainous, limiting the extent of habitable land. Positioned on the western edge of the Scandinavian peninsula, Norway shares its eastern border with Sweden, Finland, and Russia. To the west, the country faces the vast expanse of the North Atlantic Ocean, while the northernmost part extends well above the Arctic Circle, touching the icy waters of the Barents Sea. This extensive north-south orientation gives Norway a remarkable diversity in climate and landscape. The southern regions experience temperate, oceanic weather, while the far north endures harsh Arctic conditions with long, dark winters and midnight sun summers. The fjords, Norway's signature geography. Perhaps the most iconic geographical feature of Norway is its fjords, deep, narrow inlets carved by glaciers during the last ice age. These fjords stretch along the coast for thousands of kilometers, creating a labyrinth of water and steep cliffs. Famous fjords like Gerangerfjord, Sonefjord, and Hardangerfjord are among the deepest and most spectacular in the world. The fjords were formed by the immense power of glaciers that, thousands of years ago, carved deep valleys into the bedrock. When the ice melted, seawater flooded these valleys, creating steep-sided, water-filled gorges that plunge hundreds of meters deep. The fjords not only offer awe-inspiring landscapes but have historically served as natural harbors, providing sheltered routes for ships and sustaining communities through fishing and trade. Mountains and plateaus. Norway is famously mountainous. About two-thirds of its land area is covered by mountains and high plateaus. The Scandinavian mountains, also called the Scans, run along the border with Sweden, reaching peaks that soar above 2,400 meters. The highest mountain in Norway is Galdhøpiggen, standing at 2,469 meters above sea level, located in the Jotunheimen mountain range. These mountains are rugged, often snow-capped year-round, and carved with glacial valleys and cirques. The mountainous terrain significantly influences Norway's climate and settlement patterns, with most people living in lower valleys and coastal areas. Plateaus such as the Hardangervidda, Europe's largest mountain plateau, are unique ecosystems, vast, open spaces dotted with lakes, rivers, and tundra vegetation. These areas are home to wild reindeer herds and support outdoor activities like hiking and cross-country skiing. Norway's coastline and islands. Norway boasts one of the longest coastlines in the world, about 25,000 kilometers if all fjords and islands are included. Its coastline is deeply indented by fjords and dotted with tens of thousands of islands, skerries, and islets. Some of the largest islands include Svalbard, Senja, and Hinnøya. The coast plays a vital role in Norway's economy and culture. It supports rich fisheries, aquaculture, shipping industries, and tourism. The maritime climate along the coast is milder than inland areas due to the warming influence of the Gulf Stream. The Lofoten Islands, famous for their dramatic peaks and fishing villages, are a highlight of Norway's coastal geography, attracting visitors from around the world. Rivers, lakes, and glaciers. Norway's landscape is dotted with countless rivers and lakes, many formed by glacial activity. Rivers like the Glomma, Norway's longest river at over 600 kilometers, carve valleys and provide water resources for hydroelectric power, which supplies a significant portion of Norway's electricity. Norway is also home to numerous glaciers, remnants of the last ice age. The Jostedalsbreen Glacier is the largest in mainland Europe, covering over 487 square kilometers. Glaciers continue to shape the landscape by carving valleys and feeding rivers and lakes with meltwater, contributing to Norway's lush valleys and abundant freshwater systems. Climate zones and vegetation. Due to its vast north-south expanse and diverse topography, Norway has several climate zones. The southern coast experiences a mild maritime climate with cool summers and mild winters, while inland and northern areas have a more continental and Arctic climate. Vegetation ranges from dense boreal forests of spruce and pine in the south and Midlands to tundra and alpine vegetation in the mountainous and Arctic north. The tree line rises higher in the south, allowing forests to thrive, while in the north, the landscape becomes increasingly barren as it transitions to tundra. Human geography and settlement. Norway's geography has greatly influenced where and how people live. Most of Norway's population resides in coastal cities and towns where the land is more accessible and the climate milder. Oslo, the capital, is situated at the end of the Oslofjord in the southeast, serving as the political, economic, and cultural center. Other major cities include Bergen, known as the gateway to the fjords, and Trondheim, an important historical and cultural hub. The rugged interior remains sparsely populated due to its harsh terrain and climate, though it is important for mining, forestry, and outdoor recreation. Conservation and environmental stewardship. Norway is known for its strong commitment to protecting its natural environment. National parks and nature reserves cover about 17% of the country's land area, preserving fragile ecosystems, wildlife habitats, and cultural landscapes. Efforts to balance resource use with conservation are ongoing, particularly concerning hydropower, forestry, and fisheries. Norway also leads in renewable energy adoption, especially hydropower, which dominates its electricity generation. Conclusion. Norway's geography is a breathtaking tableau of fjords, mountains, forests, and Arctic tundra, a landscape shaped by glaciers and the sea, where nature reigns supreme. This dramatic terrain has molded the country's culture, economy, and way of life, creating a unique blend of wilderness and human resilience. In the coming scenes, we will delve deeper into Norway's history, culture, and the ways its geography continues to inspire and challenge its people. As we journey further into the geography of Norway, we shift our focus from its stunning landscapes to the dynamic forces that shape its environment, the climate, ecosystems, and abundant natural resources. These elements not only define Norway's physical character but also profoundly influence the lifestyle, economy, and culture of its people. Norway's diverse climate zones. Norway's vast latitudinal stretch, combined with its rugged terrain and proximity to the Atlantic Ocean, creates a remarkable variety of climate zones, from temperate coastal regions to frigid Arctic tundra. The coastal areas along the Norwegian Sea and North Atlantic Ocean experience a mild maritime climate, heavily influenced by the North Atlantic Drift, an extension of the Gulf Stream. This warm ocean current brings milder winters and cooler summers compared to other places at similar latitudes. For example, the city of Bergen, located on the west coast, receives abundant rainfall year-round, earning its reputation as one of Europe's rainiest cities, yet its winters rarely dip below freezing. Travel inland, however, and the climate changes dramatically. Inland valleys and plateaus experience a continental climate, marked by colder winters and warmer summers. Cities such as Oslo and Hamar witness snow-covered winters and hot summers, with temperature ranges often more extreme than on the coast. Further north, the climate becomes distinctly subarctic and Arctic, especially above the Arctic Circle, where Norway's Finnmark region experiences long, dark winters known as the polar night, and endless daylight during the summer's midnight sun period. Here, temperatures can plunge to extreme lows in winter, and the landscape transforms into tundra, supporting only hardy vegetation. The Arctic influence and midnight sun. The Arctic portion of Norway includes the Svalbard archipelago, located far above the mainland. This remote group of islands is dominated by glaciers, polar deserts, and ice caps. Here, the extreme polar climate governs every aspect of life. During the polar night, the sun remains below the horizon for several months, plunging the landscape into darkness interrupted only by the ethereal glow of the northern lights, the aurora borealis. Conversely, the midnight sun provides continuous daylight in summer, a phenomenon that profoundly influences local ecosystems and human activities. Norway's rich ecosystems, from forests to tundra. Norway's ecosystems reflect its varied climate and geography, ranging from lush forests in the south and central regions to the treeless Arctic tundra in the north. In southern Norway, the dominant ecosystems are boreal forests, characterized by vast stands of coniferous trees such as spruce, pine, and fir. These forests are vital habitats for wildlife, including moose, lynx, and wolves. They also support a robust forestry industry that has long been a cornerstone of Norway's economy. In the coastal regions, especially along the fjords, mixed forests combine conifers with deciduous species like birch and aspen. These areas are rich in biodiversity, housing numerous bird species, fish, and marine mammals. Moving northwards, the forests thin out, giving way to alpine tundra on high mountain plateaus like the Hardangervidda. This ecosystem is characterized by low-growing shrubs, mosses, and lichens, adapted to withstand harsh winds, freezing temperatures, and a short growing season. In the far north and on Arctic islands like Svalbard, the landscape becomes polar desert and ice fields, with minimal vegetation. Yet these areas are crucial breeding grounds for Arctic wildlife, including polar bears, seals, and migratory birds. Norway's natural resources, wealth from the earth and sea. Norway's geography is not only about beauty but also immense wealth in natural resources, which have shaped its modern economy. The country's forests supply timber and paper, sustaining a significant forestry sector. Hydroelectric power, harnessed from Norway's many rivers and waterfalls, produces over 90% of the nation's electricity, making Norway a world leader in renewable energy. Beneath the seabed of the North Sea and Norwegian Sea lie some of Europe's richest oil and natural gas reserves. Since the discovery of oil in the 1960s, Norway has transformed into a major energy exporter, generating vast wealth that fuels social programs and infrastructure development. Fishing is another pillar of Norway's resource economy. The country's cold, nutrient-rich waters support abundant fish stocks, including cod, herring, and salmon. Aquaculture, especially salmon farming, has become a global industry centered in Norwegian fjords. Mining also occurs in mountainous regions, extracting minerals such as copper, iron ore, and zinc. Although less dominant than energy and fishing, mining remains important to local economies. The role of rivers and lakes. Norway's numerous rivers and lakes play an essential role beyond power generation. Rivers like the Glomma, Norway's longest, carve fertile valleys that support agriculture and settlements. Lakes scattered throughout the landscape provide freshwater and recreational opportunities. The country's hydrological network is intricately connected to its glaciers, which act as natural reservoirs, slowly releasing meltwater that feeds rivers and maintains ecosystems during drier seasons. Human adaptation to geography and climate. Norwegians have adapted ingeniously to their environment, building settlements mostly along the coast and in river valleys where conditions are more favorable. Traditional livelihoods such as fishing, farming, and forestry have evolved alongside modern industries powered by natural resources. The geographic constraints, mountains, fjords, and Arctic conditions, have fostered a culture of resilience and innovation. Transport infrastructure, including tunnels, bridges, and ferries, connects isolated communities scattered across challenging terrain. Urban centers like Oslo, Bergen, and Trondheim serve as hubs of commerce, education, and culture, integrating modern life with Norway's geographic heritage. Environmental conservation and sustainability. Norway's geography has also inspired a deep respect for nature and sustainability. Protected areas like Jotunheimen National Park, Rondane National Park, and the Rondane Wilderness preserve landscapes and wildlife. Norway actively promotes environmental stewardship, balancing economic development with conservation. The country's commitment to renewable energy, reduction of carbon emissions, and protection of marine ecosystems exemplifies how geography shapes national priorities. Conclusion. The geography of Norway, its climate, ecosystems, and natural resources, is a powerful force that defines the country's identity. From the mild coastal zones to the harsh Arctic north, Norway's natural environment offers both challenges and opportunities. It supports a rich tapestry of life and livelihoods, inspiring a culture deeply connected to the land and sea.